Hello and welcome. Using a spreadsheet in this video, I'm going to be going over buy low, sell high strategy using data from XBY and using the day before the what I stated on the channel as the buy date as the starting point for this video. So almost a couple hundred days ago. It's quite a long ago, and it's going to be going over quite a bit. I'm going to explain the spreadsheet, and what the spreadsheet will have is 4 pages. One which has the price data, another one for buying, another one for selling, and the other one for overall, or that of statistics. And how I have this written, I have data in here, so it goes back to May the 10th as this date, and each day following thereafter. G is where I'm going to be putting in numbers to get data. So if I put a number in here, oh, there's the price. If I put a number in here, there we go. How did I do this? Well, this is the price in here, open, high, low, close. So I put an if statement. If this number is greater than 0, then give me the high price. But this isn't Satoshi, so I have to multiply it by 100 million. And same thing with the high, the low, and the close. This is the ownership of tokens for the game, which is the sum of the buys and the sells. So from column 2 all the way down on each case. And what we'll be doing is talking about buy orders, sell orders, and buying and selling every 1%. So therefore, if you're buying at, say, 500, then 495, or 496 even, 492, or 492, 488, every 4 points in the 400s, every 5 points in the 500s, every 6 points in the 600s, and so on. And if you're selling at, say, 600, maybe look to buy back at about a 15% reduction. That would be 90 basis points. So you'd be buying back at about 510. I was looking to think back then 500 was a place to buy, and it was lower than that. So in a situation like this, I put about a buy order for, say, 100,000 at 500. And in this case, the low was 410, and the price closed at 558. And we'll use the assumption that you just come to the office every day at 8 p.m. And this works no matter what time you do it at. But once a day, see the orders that you have, and then adjust it every day when new ones come in. So in this case, we'll say you buy 100,000 at the price point of 500. The cost would be a half a Bitcoin. So this just takes this price, multiply this, divide it by 100 million, because to get into normal cost, and then multiply it by the commission or the rate, and in Cryptopia it's 1/5%. So 1.002. As far as the sales are concerned, same thing in here, but you multiply it by 0.998 because you're paying it, rather than that of, well, it's just on the sale. You lose it and you pay more on your buy. Okay then, so in a situation here, let's say you're looking to start selling at 600. Buy orders would start at 496, 492. Sell orders, we'll say 600, 606, 612, and so on. So what we'll do is we will click a 1 and see that the price action went up to 719. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 600 in here. I'm going to go equals this number plus 6. And I'm going to copy and paste this all the way until we get to the 700s. Okay, so we'll just do it one more time. And now we're going to do it every 7 points. And what did it? Goes to 719. So you would have 716 as your last sell order. Now how many did we sell here? Well, in a situation when 100,000 were purchased, every 1%, well, 1% of that's 1,000. And I want to do about half of that. So 500 would represent a very good amount. And we'll just copy and paste that for every single one. There we have it. So now when we look at the overall statistics, 10,000 of the coins would have already been sold, as there's 90,000 remaining. This is just subtracting the two. Net Bitcoin difference, that's taking the difference of those two numbers. And I'll explain this later on, but it's got the last price, so that means the portfolio would be up as a gain of 0.17 right now. So you'd be up about 35% at this stage. You got your net buys of 100,000, net sells of 10,000. Maybe I should put this in commas, so let's do that now. And so on and so forth. For the average buy 501 and the average sale right now 656. So the last sale is at 716. And although I can calculate that with a spreadsheet, I'll just click on this and see that, you know what, 600 is where I would want to buy back. And the price is in at 680. So I'd have, say, reducing every 5 points, a buy order in at, say, 600, going down 600, 595, 590, and so on and so forth. So let's click on a 1 again and see that with the low of 650, well, we just continued selling, obviously, with the 719 as the last one. So 785 was the high, so we'll just copy and paste this till we get to that point. And of course, if we had 786, that one would not have hit. And 500 is shot again. So 779 was the last sale. So let's multiply this by, you know what, at this stage when there's a decent gain, sometimes you want to increase the pullback. So maybe we'll go 83%. So let's do 650 even as where you would buy back. The price closed at 683. So 650 would be where we're looking. It doesn't go to 650. Well, we would have just barely missed a buy, basically. 879, so let's continue on with the sell orders. And we only want to do this till about 800. And now we want to do this for every 8 points. And that would be as far as we would go. So now we're going to look at this and say, okay, we want to wait for a pullback. But let's just look at this in another example. It's 872 as your last trade. So normally, we're looking for a 15% pullback, which would take us to 741. When you have a big rise like that, you can say, you know what I want to do is, I'm going to buy it, but I want to go even a few more basis points below that. And let's just say you choose 650. What you're going to do is you're going to buy several lots at 650 and then continue normal buying below. And in this case, it doesn't go below 650, so we'll go another day. Same thing here, nothing doing. Okay, 650, it hits. Now, I sort of know the numbers, but I'm playing this like I don't know in a sense. But I realize that when the bigger gains you have, the bigger decreases you want to buy back. That's always going to be the way I'm going to be looking at it. This is going to be the best rally we're going to get through it this whole, or they haven't had good ones since then anyway. So in a situation here, 741, and I'm not going to be buying it from this. I just want to see how many orders should fill. So subtract that by 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, we'll say. So basically what I can do is I can take the sum of the last 15 amounts. It works out to about 0.06. So that's basically what I'd be looking to buy for about, is 0.06 worth. 15, well, 500 times 15 would work out to 7,500. So it's going to be higher than this number, but we want this to be 0.06. So if we go say 9,000, it's close. 9,500, it's a little more. So you know what, we'll just do 9,000 of them at 650. So therefore, we can look at this from this point on. Every single time this moves in intervals, it's going to be traded. With 650 being the last trade, that means if it goes as low as even 644, we'll be buying more. Now sell orders, they could be all changed back again because 15 orders got purchased for us. And when we look at 15 orders, well, 15 times 500 is 7,500. That means 15 are put in the bank to sell when this baby gets to several thousands. That's what I'm trying to do here by buying it this way. You're going to notice a lot of 560 and 565 buys, basically, as we move forward. But 648 is the low. So therefore, what's 15% from where we stand on the last buy? That would be about, we'll say 100 basis points. Maybe you start selling at, say, well, no, it's about 100. Yeah, so 750. Start selling at 750. That's, of course, unless we buy. But that's where your first sell order would be. I have a seller at 750, 757, a 764, and then we can see here that the market didn't go that high, but we did have buy orders fill all the way down to 617. So this will minus 6 points. So this would have been 5 buy orders filled. Now when you look at the numbers, it's about a 15% reduction in price as we're playing this. So I'd be looking to buy, 10% is on 500 would be 50. So you can even go like 560 a shot. And that also means now with 620 as your last play, maybe go like little under 100 points, 715 as the next sell. And the market doesn't go to 715, it goes to 699. It doesn't go below 617 either. And 715 again is the sell. It does go to 603. So now with that, maybe you start selling at 700. And missed it at 697. 561 it goes down to. So now it's going to go down. We might as well move it every 5 basis points below 600. Which takes us to 597, but we went to a low of 561. So with 560 being the last trade, 15% on top of that is about 80-ish or so. So you look at selling at maybe 640 and then keep buying below as it goes down. 640 doesn't happen. It goes down to 520 in here. So with 520 being the last trade, that's about 80-ish or so points. So you go about 580, we'll say, to start selling again. Okay, it goes up to 612. So we're going to sell this up to 600, and then 6 points after that, which if it goes to... Okay, they're at... And then we'll just... 606 and 612. So at this stage, you're just going to keep selling on top 618 and then 624 and so on and so forth. If we look at the statistics in here now, you have about 98,000 coins. Portfolio is plus 0.11. Average buy 521. Average sale 707. Okay, so therefore, where would the buyback now be? Well, if you're at 612, well, 50%, we can go like, what, 510? So buy 510 and sell above 612. And it goes to 669. So we'll paste this out to be... Excellent. Okay, so then, with triple sixes being the last sale, that's about 100 basis points, so 570 as the buy, we'll say. Nothing going on there. Nothing going on there. We've got one buy order at 570 hit. So in a spot like this, you just put 666 in again as your next number, and if you're what's the word? Superstitious, you can go 667 or 665. Either way, it's all mathematical for what I'm doing this on. So your previous number and 557. This would take us to, we'll buy it on the fives to, well, we'll only get two of them in, 560 and 565. So now you can go like, say, like 650 or so to start selling at. And there's a spot where you're going to get buys and sells on the same day. You get two sellers at 650 and 656. And then at the same time, you would have a buy order because it goes below the 545 mark. So therefore, let's put that into play as well. And it closes at 600. So therefore, 545 being the last buy, we can continue buying below that and go, say, 650 again. And it sells over the 650 number. $6.95 was the last one, so So at this stage here, your portfolio would be 0.13. Basically, you started with a half a Bitcoin, so you got plus 0.07 change back, buying at 125,800, selling 33,500 of them. And let's continue further. So the last trade, of course, was a sell at 695. So you're looking to buy, say, 595. We'll go. And it goes to 571. Okay, so 575 your last trade, 670 might be a good place to continue selling again. Which it doesn't hit. 5 goes down 4 basis points lower. Which means that we'd be looking to buy at 570. And it does hit that, so let's just paste this in again for that buy. And then go maybe 660. But it goes down to 559, which means 2 buy orders would fill. And now we can, with 560 being the last one, go say 650, which it doesn't hit because it goes to 630. But it did the next day as it goes to 725. And we're going to increase this every 6 basis points. Until we get past that 700 number. So now it goes up every 7 basis points. And the high was 7.25. Okay, so last trade being 719, 15% of that, well 72 and half of that, that's basically close to 100 points, so maybe 610 as a spot to buy back. And I know if you wait further, you're getting better prices, but I don't know in real time, and I didn't know back then. 610, it doesn't go below that day. It does there, so 610 would be the only, 2 buy, 610 and 604. Okay, so we got some statistics in here. Portfolio value 0.15, 91,000 coins. Net buys, I do have a buy average. Buy average 525, sell average 691. Okay, so 600 being the last buy, let's go 700, I guess, to sell. But it goes down to 570. So we're doing every 5 basis points, we'll say the rest of the way in the 500s. And every time a trade comes through, it's like getting 60 free coins and a microscopic amount of Bitcoin. That's the way I look at that as. 574 the last trade, so there's a differential of like, we'll go another 100 or so, so 670 to start selling. 467, there's a decent sized reversal or bottom. So therefore, well, we already got the formula in. So to bring this down to the 500, and then we're going to do 4 basis points on the 4s. I think it was like 474, 467. And you know what? This meat you might have hit, you might have missed, you might even got a partial hit, like 300 of them, because it's all in order of when you put it in. I'm gonna say you didn't get it because of the fact that someone had better priority than you, but you might have, and you might have got a partial one, but we'll do it at that. So now 471 means with the original buy at 500, your net portfolio is positive. So you're up about, well, 0.04 in your original of half. So you're still close to 10%, close to 9 rather, and the market is down. You have more coins than you started now at 107. So with 471 being the last trade, 15% on top of that, well, 48 and a half of that is 24. So you're looking at 70 basis points, so like 550 would be a spot where I'd be looking to start selling. And it doesn't go there. It goes to 492 as the low. 415, the bottom for that day. This time I'm going to put the 15 in. And 15% on top of that, that's about 60 points. So we'll go 480 maybe as a sale. And it goes to 530. What a difference from your last sale being 719, and then now we're selling at 480. And we're going 4 points up until 500, then we're going 5 points. And 519, I think, was the high. 530 was the high. So we'll be selling all the way up to that number. And I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it got it this time. So with 530 being the last sale, 15% below that, we're looking at about 80 basis points. So that would be about 450. It goes up to 552. So now with 550 being the last trade, about 455 to 60, we're looking, let's go 455 to buy back. 455. And it doesn't go higher, it doesn't hit the 455. Same thing here. Same thing here. 350 is where this low goes down to. And for what we'll just keep going 4 points. Even actually, we'll do 3 on the 3s, assuming you have the Bitcoin for it, and assuming you have the risk tolerance for it. So the low is 350. That is. This thing could even go, and I'm just saying this now. I mean, this thing could go to 250, but I've been thinking that for a while, given the fact Bitcoin going to that of 3,000. I figured, okay, if Bitcoin goes to 3,000, where's this going? And then how many will I buy? And I would be able to buy a lot given my US dollar tether trades. Price would be so cheap. Now in this example here, you're technically still up, barely, but with the price at 459, and then you're like, oh, the price is 459. You know, you just bought at 350. So normally, if you're looking to sell at 15%, that's 35 plus half of that. We're looking well over 50. So you're looking at like 405. You can just be in a situation where, you know what, I can sell like maybe 5 orders even, 2,500 at the 459 price. And then now keep on selling we'll say every 4 points after that. And with the last buy being 350, and this being that of 5 sell orders, we can go like say 3, well, let's do 3 multiply 4, which is 12. 1, 2, 3. We'll go 363. 363 buy and keep selling over the 459 number every 4 points. So 459 keeps going up to 470. And back to the normal 500 per sale, because the last one was selling 5 different orders at one time. See, what I'd like to get in this spot is see that this sells way high, like it goes, I get like 25, 30 sell orders come in, and it just loses it all back like immediately kind of deal. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy like 14 buy orders in a row or 15 at this point. That's the things that I like. So instead of getting your 15% price reduction, you get like a 30 or 40, and thus you're getting better token sizes. But anyway, 467 was the last sale. So now with that being stated, maybe you buy at about 380, 375, 474. So that's one more sale. So 384, we'll say, buy on. Goes up to 495 instead. So now the price action is pretty much where, well, 30 points from where you started, but up 0.02. Net Bitcoin, as you see, you would have had to commit more Bitcoin, but that should always be part of the plan when you're doing a strategy of this kind of nature. So with 495 being the last sale, maybe buy back at 410, which almost came through, but not quite. Okay, it goes up to 514. And now we'll go with 5 points crossing the 5. And with 514 being the last sale, that's about an 80-point differential. So go about 434 to buy back. But it goes up to 520. Not much of a sale, but one of them. So maybe 438 to buy. But it goes up to 550 instead. And at 550 being the last buy, or last sale rather, or last trade, let's do 460 to buy back. Nothing there, same high, no 460, no 460, high is lower, has to be over 550. I guess 555 counts for one. And continue on. I mean, we're only on cell 56. I knew this would take a while though. 623. But you get the idea for how this is supposed to be played through. Because from here on in, it's just going to be repetitive work. Although it will slow down a bit, because what happens is the markets, as it's been going, go day after day without anything happening. There's going to be a lot of situations like that taking place. But overall at this stage, what we would see is now the portfolio with the price at 594 being worth 0.16 profit. And when you start with 50, that's almost 33% increase. The price action of 94 points over 50, well, that works out to about 20%. That's not much. So you've outperformed the market in this case. You have, look, in this case here, you got 105,280 when you've just been picking away back and forth. Average buy 509, average sale 622. And that's just going to keep doing that when you're playing that kind of strategy. I'm going to bring up paint to finish this. But when you got markets that have their moves, kind of deal, like, oh my goodness, it's just at the stage where it's just up so much. In this spot, you could have over 100 sell orders, but you're basically going to be getting an average, which is totally fine. But what's going to complement that in this spot is now you're going to be able to think at different times, okay, this is up too much. I'm now just going to take different amounts, and instead of selling 500 here and 500 there, let's sell 5,000 here or 3,000 or some high number. Maybe even somewhere like 20,000, because it just gets way too high. And then if you get a move like this, you can think again, okay, maybe I want to buy a little bit. Maybe you think it's going to go down even further, because that's what these markets do with these 30x and 100x moves higher and 7x and 10x, 15x moves lower, that you can wait longer. But even still, if you did sell, say, 20,000 more in here, and now you're back here, you can just buy those 20,000 back, assuming that it's, say, down 60%. That means if you, for every 100 units you sold it for, it's going to cost you maybe 40, so 60 of them become already profit. And then from this point on, you can start putting sell orders in again. So those are the types of things. And it's been like these situations of these great gains that were okay or happening last year in in 2017, that is, in the spring and early summer. And the one that ended the calendar year that went barely into 2018, they haven't happened, but I do believe they will. And that's my strategy that I'm using within this code, and even a few other ones. But because of a high ownership, when you own like a half a Bitcoin worth of something, or you own or more, then you can play for the smaller percentage moves. And I would like to go further, but I do see the clock is 40 minutes almost, and you get the idea. And with the price, a spoiler alert, with the price at 450, you're well overperforming the market as it is at this stage. Now, how I got the price, I'll show you right now in here. It's this column here. It just takes the bottom number. How this works is, if this number is greater than 1, then I want the current last price. If it's not, then I want the previous one. So it all changes, but in here it just stays at 594, where if I put 1 in here again, it would go to 589. So just quickly going over what would happen, just to finish this off, 661 is some more selling, and nothing would happen here. 501, there'd be some buying opportunity. You'd probably be now selling at about 580. You'd be going down to 450. So now you'd be selling at about 530 something. No buying, no selling. You buy more to 427, so now you might be selling your 500. So there's a little bit of selling with the 500. and not much going on there. Maybe you buy the 431, buy some more down to 411, buy some more to 403, and I mean, you'd be selling about 470. There's 378, so now you'd sell about 450. So you'd sell a little bit at there. And there you'd buy a bit at 351. Sell a little bit at 463. Sell up to 530. You doesn't do nothing that day. You're not buying 478. 550 you'd be selling up to. Sell up to 650. Then you buy down to 501. I mean, there's an amazing trade right there. One day it's 650, the next day it's 501, and then here it's 589. So you're barely starting to sell at that number. And then 488, you're buying again. 597, back down to 500. So yeah, there's the strategy basically that I like to play. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.